A very good afternoon to you and welcome to Ibro Up to Date at 1. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. It is the 7th of August 2019 where we have a lot in store for you. And this afternoon we start in Nairobi County where police have arrested 5 robbery with violence suspect who stole goods worth over 2 million from Constar maize millers in Makuyu, Murang'a County. The 5 were arrested in Utawala and Thome Estate in Nairobi, where assorted items were also recovered. The 5 suspects have been identified as Duncan Kihumba, Stephen Nganga, Patrick Mwangi, Anthony Kimani and Edward Mwangi. According to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, the recovered goods have been secured as exhibit. 3 other suspects connected to the robbery had earlier been arrested and charged. Now, elsewhere today, it is a remarkable day where today, the 7th of August 2019, marks 21 years since the dreaded bomb blast that flattened the then U.S. Embassy in Nairobi, causing the death of 213 people. Families of the deceased as well as survivors of the attack are convening at the site to remember the day that robbed them of their loved one. Now, do understand that we have our reporter Ode Francis on ground. Ode, what is the latest from your end?
Yes, indeed. I am at the August 7th Memorial Park and Museum here in Nairobi, where today the victims and the survivors are commemorating the 21st anniversary when it comes to this day. They are remembering the 1998 7th bomb blast, where today again it looks like a normal day, but again to the survivors, they are here asking questions, very hard questions, that why is it that last year the event was attended with the top-notch officials, even from the embassy or from the U.S. Embassy, but today no official from the embassy has come to attend this commemoration. Even the government itself has not sent anyone or any representative to come and represent the government and give them a word or two when it comes to matters this day of the 21st commemoration of the bomb blast. However, again, the survivors are asking a very hard question, matters compensation. They are saying they have insights that money was given. Money was the compensation money was given to some of the people, but again, no shilling has trickled down to them. Apparently, one of the survivors came out clean, asking the government to come out clean to make sure that their part or their share when it comes to matters compensation. 2,775 billion US dollars was given to Kenya. But again, there is no money that has trickled down, or there is no money that these survivors have received. And the head, who is Joseph Okido, is saying right now they just need to see the President Uhuru Kenyatta. The 4 presidents have been in power, but no president has at least followed the matter of matters compensation to make sure that the victims and survivors have been compensated.
Well, thank you, Ode Francis. That is our reporter, Ode Francis, bringing us up to speed with the marks of the 21 years since that dreaded bomb blast. And you surely bring us up to speed in our subsequent bulletins, of course, at 7 and 9 p.m. Thank you, Ode Francis. Now let's head over to Parliament, where morning proceedings of the National Assembly on Wednesday were temporarily brought to a standstill after the Kwale woman representative, Zuleika Hassan, entered the chambers with a 5-month-old baby. Christopher Omulele, who was serving as the Speaker, ordered Ms. Hassan to withdraw from the chamber, saying it is not the right place to take care of her child. A section of male MPs and women lawmakers, however, supported Ms. Hassan, urging her to stay put, causing a standstill within the chambers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker,
Honorable members, allow the Honorable Kaluma to prosecute his point of order.
Mr. Speaker, unlike before, in the constitution that we have currently, family has been placed at the very center of the society. This is beginning Article 45. At Article 53, the right of the child has been sanctioned by our Supreme Law. Mr. Speaker, we've been advocating as a National Assembly that we must secure places for proper care of children, more so for women who are working.
Mr. Speaker, we cannot have 349
order members. Order members.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker...
Order. The leader of majority is on a point of order.
I am on a point of order.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker.
Order members. The Honorable Kaluma.
Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Kaluma.
Kaluma.
The Honorable Kaluma, this is...
Whether Parliament creates a plate for lactating mothers for their children, for us, even fathers, to have to bring our children when our mothers are not around. Mr. Speaker, this is, I have never seen it. I can go to the record. Mr. Speaker, this is an abuse, and that member must be cited, and she has ashamed the people of Kwale.
As much as she might want to take care of her child, this is not the place for it. And I therefore direct that she immediately withdraws, and she may return to the chamber after she withdraws the child. Those are the directions of the Speaker.
Now, away from the dramatic scenes there in the Parliament, and let's head over to Kingston, Jamaica, where President Uhuru Kenyatta and the Jamaican Prime Minister Andrew Holness launched a celebration to mark the International Decade of the African Descent in Kingston, Jamaica. The launch of the celebration to mark the United Nations designated period were unveiled as Jamaica observed its 57th independence anniversary.
The performers have now formed themselves into the map of the continent of Africa, the second largest continent on planet Earth.
The colorful ceremony was held at the Jamaica National Stadium and attended by thousands of enthusiastic Jamaicans who traveled from across the country to attend the historic event in Kingston, the country's capital city. The highlight of the celebration was a presentation of songs and dances from the Americas, which are what people of African descent remember of the tradition they came with to the Americas 400 years ago.
In declaring Jamaica's commemoration of the United Nations International Decade for People of African Descent,
I hereby declare Jamaica's commemoration of the United Nations International Decade for People of African Descent from the 6th of August 2019 to the 6th of August 2020 officially launched.
Prime Minister Holness said Jamaica will use the celebration to mark the decade of people of African descent to pay homage to Africa. Earlier on Tuesday, President Kenyatta was a chief guest at the 67th Jamaica Agricultural Show at Denby.
One of the things that impressed me most is your journey of innovation that has resulted in developing a livestock breed that is adapted to the climate and to the pasture conditions of Jamaica. Our two countries are greatly dependent on agriculture for employment as well as foreign exchange earnings.
President Kenyatta, who toured the showground, was impressed by, among others, the variety of high-grade cattle breeds developed by Jamaican scientists. The tropical cattle breeds include the Jamaican Hope, Jamaican Braham, Jamaican Red and Jamaican Black. The cattle have the hardiness of the Zebu cattle and the superior beef characteristics of the Aberdeen Angus. President Kenyatta and Prime Minister Holness said that as part of the growing cooperation between the two developing countries, Kenya and Jamaica will work closely in exchange of expertise and technical know-how in the agricultural sector. On Monday, the two leaders held a bilateral talks where they witnessed the signing of 4 deals to deepen ties between Kenya and Jamaica. The agreements signed included MOUs on technical cooperation in tourism, also in the field of sports, culture and heritage. The two leaders also witnessed the signing of a framework of cooperation between the two governments and an MOU on political consultations. Beside the agreements that were signed, the two leaders and their delegations discussed plans to introduce airport connections between Kenya and Jamaica. Well, still in Kingston, Jamaica, First Lady Margaret Kenyatta toured Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation in Kingston, Jamaica, where she met rescued teenage mothers who, despite their predicament, are still in school. The First Lady was accompanied by the Minister for Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Ms. Olivia Grange, and other leaders.
Speaking in Kingston Cultural Center, where she met teenage mothers who have commenced school, First Lady Margaret Kenyatta congratulated Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation for becoming a national program with an aim of empowering young mothers who had earlier dropped out of school as a result of teenage pregnancies.
First, let me appreciate our hosts from the Women's Center who have made all this possible. I applaud your selfless service. What started off 40 years ago as a response to the high level of teenage pregnancies has become a national program with 10 different centers offering quality education, peer-to-peer learning, reintegration into formal schools, mentoring, and uninterrupted learning.
Minister for Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports, Ms. Olivia Grange, said girl child bears the blame all the time from the society when the unthinkable happens at an early age.
As you know, whatever the circumstances of a teenage pregnancy, a formidable combination of relatives, institutions such as schools and the church, social and cultural norms usually conspire to blame the girl and block her path forward.
First Lady Margaret Kenyatta said the foundation is doing a great job by keeping girls in school, saying it directly lowers the rate of maternal mortality and protects young mothers from challenges such as HIV infections.
This innovative initiative is a sanctuary that has given teenage girls who would otherwise have dropped out of school due to early pregnancy a place where they can continue their studies, nurture their babies, and transform their lives.
Miss Olivia explains to the guests how the foundation works and reasons why it has existed for 40 years.
It does this by helping them to continue their education, thereby increasing their job prospects and equipping them with the tools to look after their children and to become good parents.
Lady Ellen Patrick encouraged families to educate the girl child by using a phrase well known to the Kenyan society, and she said,
"It is said, and I quote, when you educate a man, you educate an individual. But when you educate a woman, you educate a nation." End of quote.
Reporting for Ebru TV, I'm Kaindo Stefano.
Back to the country, where the government has suspended a controversial order on transportation of cargo from Mombasa to Nairobi by use of the standard gauge railway. The order has been suspended to pave way for stakeholder consultations.
The suspension announced on Tuesday night came hours after the National Assembly directed Transport and Infrastructure Cabinet Secretary James Macharia to appear before the Transport Committee on Thursday to explain the directive issued last week and which was set to take effect on Wednesday. The directive for the CS to appear was declared on Monday by Deputy Speaker Moses Cheboi as he granted a request by Mvita MP Abdul Samad Nasir to suspend House business for MPs to discuss the directive as a matter of national importance. The directive stipulated that all cargo from the port in Mombasa shall be hauled into the Inland Container Depot ICD in Nairobi for clearance.
Honorable Speaker, sometime last year, all government agencies and departments were directed through a circular from the head of public service to transport all their cargo from Mombasa through the standard gauge railway. There now seems to be a push by the government to have all cargo received at the port of Mombasa transported on the SGR. This is of concern as it is currently unclear how much railway levy is being charged per ton of goods transported.
Mvita MP Abdul Somad Nasir, who is also the chairman of the House Public Investment Committee, said the order, which takes effect from Thursday, will kill the clearing and forwarding businesses, container freight stations, trucking, warehousing, and other related businesses employing thousands in the coast region.
There are fears that the final cost of goods will be affected, while road transport companies will suffer. I therefore request the government to provide the latest statistics on the cost and usage of the SGR and clarify who should use the SGR exclusively, as it is important to have a liberal market where private business persons can choose the mode of transporting their goods.
House Majority Leader Aden Duale, Majority Whip Benjamin Washali, and Minority Deputy Whip Chris Wamalwa supported the request seeking adjournment of all House business to deliberate on the move by the Kenya Ports Authority and the Kenya Revenue Authority.
Oh, this matter, let me finish. This matter is serious. Speaker, you cannot kill a whole industry called transport in this country. And you say your cargo must come through SGR. Number two, Mr. Speaker, you cannot just choose one morning you wake up. You might be an importer and you have your own transport system. So, Mr. Speaker, I think this matter, you must direct the CS Macharia, who KPA falls under, to come and tell the House. Mr. Speaker, this is a serious matter. It must be addressed before we go on recess. Okay. There are Kenyans who have invested in the transport sector. So, Speaker, this country is a free, liberalized economy.
The directive comes barely hours after coastal leaders protested in Parliament, claiming that the move is likely to bring businesses at the port down to their knees and thus crippling the coastal economy. Gusara Naman for Ebru TV.
Now, elsewhere, nearly 120 days after the two Cuban doctors were abducted in Mandera County, Inspector General of Police Hilary Mutyambai has spoken of the challenges he encounters in a bid to consolidate efforts to rescue them. With the words going around that the medics could still be alive, Mutyambai says investigations are ongoing.
April 12, 2019, and the country woke up to the shocking news of the abduction of two Cuban doctors, Acel Herrera Correa, a general practitioner, and Landy Rodriguez, a surgeon, in Mandera County. And what followed was a massive manhunt, punctuated by arrests and arraignment in court of some suspects. Nearly 120 days later,
I'm not in a good position to account the updates on the Cuban doctors in Somalia.
And police boss Hilary Mutyambai is now opening up on just why the Cuban doctors are still in the hands of the suspected terrorists.
I don't have mandate to cross this border and beyond.
And in what seems like distancing himself from the whole operation.
As you realize, the work of police ends at the border.
Mutyambai stresses that police jurisdiction ends at the border. Thus, a different team from the Kenya Defense Forces ought to be pursuing the matter.
But the teams in our service, they are working hard.
Amid reports that the medics are alive and were seen in the Gedo region near El Ade, where they were offering free medical services to the locals, Mutyambai noted, however, that some suspects are in police custody and are helping with investigations.
We made arrest of those who are suspected to have facilitated, and they have been arraigned in court, and further investigation to give us any lead is ongoing.
The gunmen kidnapped the doctors in a daring attack in which they shot dead one of the two police officers who were escorting them to their workstation. In July, intelligence reports indicated that Al-Shabaab militants had converted the two doctors to Islam and that they had been moved to Halanko area. The abductors are said to have demanded 150 million shillings in ransom, according to community elders who went to a remote village in Jubaland, Somalia.
Now let's head over to Taita Taveta County, where the fate of the Taita Taveta County government now lies in the hands of President Uhuru Kenyatta after Governor Granton Samboja insisted on carrying on with the process to have the county government dissolved. Efforts from the ODM party leader Raila Amolo Odinga to have talks with the governor and the MCAs have also been fruitless. The county boss has announced to have surpassed the constitutional threshold of 18,000 signatures from the counties of 180,000 registered voters.
Following the squabbles between Taita Taveta County boss and his MCS, the stalemate has seen the delayed passing of the 2019-2020 financial budget. The bad blood between the two has now seen the governor now challenge the 20 elected MCS go for fresh election if the petition sails through.
The process of dissolving a county government is long, and as such, any other interventions aimed at resolving this crisis must bear in mind the resounding statement that has been made by thousands of our residents.
Efforts raised even by the county assembly through the county speaker Meshak Mwanganga have been snubbed by the county boss, who is confident about dissolving the county assembly.
Kiongozi wetu Raila Amolo Odinga ni champion wa devolution kwa miaka mingi sana. Na pia na uhuru akiwa kama kiongozi wa kutembelea kaunti yote ile katika Jamhuri ya Kenya. And in his own wisdom and being a sober leader, yeye mwenyewe sitaki kumpangia kwamba atakuja kusema nini, atakuja kuongea nini, lakini as we have said na tumemwambia sisi, we are ready for an election.
ODM party leader Raila Odinga is expected in the county this Thursday, despite his failed efforts to broker a deal regarding to the matter. Last week, Governor Samboja and his deputy and a section of MPs met with Raila Odinga at Capitol Hill in Nairobi for talks. However, Samboja's stand still pointed at having the county dissolved despite the overtures for talks. If the petition sails through after being presented to President Uhuru Kenyatta, the latter will be expected to form an independent commission inquiry that will oversee the allegations, and if satisfied with the findings, the dissolvement will take place. In the last 1 month, a number of 2019-2020 budget-related disputes between the governors and the MCAs have been recorded, including in Kisumu and Nairobi counties, but their respective governors have not taken such a hard stance as Taita Taveta County. Although it seems to be an easy path for the governor to take a hard stance in attempting to dissolve the county government, he still has to contend with the input of the Senate and the conviction of the president that the county needs to be dissolved. Mili Kisenya for Ebru TV.
Now let's dive into the world of sport, where Athletics Kenya AK has pushed the trials for the IAAF World Championship from this month to September 12th and 13th at the Nyayo National Stadium. In a statement, AK has indicated that the national championship that was to coincide with the trials from August 20th to 22nd will go on as scheduled. AK is set to use the national championship to select the men and women's 10,000 meters team for the World Championship planned from September 28th to October 6th in Doha. The changes have been effected at the request of the elite athletes, some of whom have engagement in the IAAF Diamond League Series in Europe. Now to volleyball matters, where the national women's volleyball team have been drawn in Pool B of the upcoming African Games to be held in Rabat, Morocco from August 20th to 30th. The Malkia strikers, who are the defending champions, will face nemesis Cameroon, Senegal and Algeria in Group of Death. The women's Pool A has host Morocco, Botswana, Mauritius and Nigeria. The draw were conducted on Monday night in Morocco in the presence of the official of Okba Gaum and Morocco Volleyball Federation President Boucha Hajij. Now elsewhere, Kenya under-15 coach Sagala Khan has named Here's Harambee Stars junior squad that will take part in the Sekafa Under-15 Challenge Cup in Eritrea from August 16th to September 1st. Kenya has been pooled in Group A alongside Eritrea, Burundi and Somalia. Kenya will kick off her campaign next Friday against Somalia. Group B has Uganda, Rwanda, Ethiopia and South Sudan, while Group C has Tanzania, Sudan and Djibouti. The top 3 teams from Group A and B will join the top 2 from Group C in the quarterfinals slated for August 27th and 28th. The final will be played on September 1st. Now, elsewhere, Zambia's Power Dynamos succumbed to a 3-1 loss to Tanzania mainland champions Simba Sports Club in a friendly match played at the National Stadium in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Simba striker Medi Kagere grabbed a hat-trick with Zimbabwe's Jimmy Zigai scoring Power consolations.
Yes, MK14! Terminator! Nguvu ya mamba kumai 23 na minua ndani kule cheza. Oh yes! 1-1. Jimmy Zingai, kiungo huyu mshambuliaji kutoka Zimbabwe.
Now let's head over to England, where ex-England captain Wayne Rooney says his move to Derby County will not only be about coming back home, but also hopes to keep playing for as long as possible. The 33-year-old forward will join the championship side from Washington-based DC United in January as player and a coach. Rooney still had 2 seasons remaining on the contract with the Major League Soccer side, who he joined from Everton in July 2018. Rooney's move to Derby means he is the 6th of the England's Euro 2004 squad after Sol Campbell, Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, Paul Scholes and John Terry to take their first steps in coaching or management in the past 15 months.
I had a decision to make and the opportunity to come back in England and play, but also to take up a coaching role with the club and work under Philip was too great for me to turn down. So no, I'm delighted to be back here, and I'm looking forward to come back in January and trying to help the team push forward and hopefully push for promotion. Not only that, Derby is a club with great ambitions. I think you've seen over the last few years they're putting a lot of money into the club. They're trying to take that next step to get into the Premier League, and I felt like it was a place where I could come in and use my experience and try and help them to achieve the goal.
Well, that is all we had for you in the world of current affairs and sport, but don't go too far. I'll be back with the latest in the world of business.